Today's video is going to be writing equations from a graph. The equation that we're going to be using is slope-intercept form, and it is y equals mx plus b. M is your slope, and we've been finding slope for the last couple of days. And then the b is the y-intercept, so where it crosses the y-axis. The first thing we're going to do is pick two good points from the line and calculate slope. So I'm just kind of looking here. I think I'm going to pick this point and this point. Remember, slope is rise over run, so I'm going to rise up plus 3. So my m is 3 on the top because it's rise over run. And then I'm going to run to the left, which is a minus 3. So my slope is actually -1. So I'm just going to start filling this in here. My slope is -1 because that m represents represents slope. And then I'm going to find where it crosses the y-axis. You can't always go by what it looks like is happening. So I am going to actually put in 2 points. I'm going to find the coordinate pair for this point here, and it is 2, -1. So I have this 2, -1, my x value, my y value, and so I'm going to plug those into the equation. As you can see here, I have an x and a y, so I'm going to plug those in. So, my y is -1, and my x is 2. And then I'm just going to do the math. So I have -1 is equal to, well, -1 times 2 is -2. And then I have my plus b. So now I need to solve for b. So I'm thinking to myself, what plus -2 gives me -1. So I'm just going to do some inverse here. I'm going to add the 2 to both sides. And if I'm at -1 and I add 2, I am at 1. So 1 equals my b. So now I'm just going to plug everything into my slope-intercept form here. So I have y equals my slope of -1. And now my b is +1. And if I look right here, look where it crosses, +1. So it's okay, it's a lot of steps, so let's just do another one here. Again, pick 2 good points. We're going to find slope. I'm going to pick this one and this one. So I'm going to rise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my rise is a +5. And my run is a +2. So now I have y equals 5/2 x plus b. And remember, we're always going to leave it as a fraction. I'm going to pick one of the points to put into my equation. So to be honest with you, I'm going to look for the point that seems to be the easiest for math. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. And this one is -1, -1. Because I see over here in my slope-intercept form, I'm going to be multiplying a fraction. So I don't want to pick a point that's going to be complicated. I'm going to pick that -1, 1. So now my y is -1. And I have equals 5/2 times -1 because my x is -1 plus b. Now I'm going to do some math here. So I have 5/2 times -1. So I now have -5/2 plus b equals -1. So now again, I'm just going to do some inversing here. I'm going to add 5/2. So they're going to cancel out. And I'm going to change this negative 1 to a fraction that has 2 as the denominator. So I'm going to change this to negative 2 over 2 because that really is a negative 1. And now I have the same denominator and it's easy to add them. So I know my denominator is just going to be a 2. So I'm at negative 2 and I add 5. So I'm at 3. And that's going to equal my b. So now I'm just going to plug everything in. Excuse me. So I have y equals, my slope is 5/2 x, and my b is positive 3/2. So if I take this and look at that, 1.5, which is really 3/2. Let's do it one more time here. I'm going to pick 2 good points. Oh, let's pick this one and this one. I'm going to rise up 3. And I'm going to run 3. So 3 over 3 is really a 1. So now I have y equals 1 x plus b. And I'm going to pick one of my points. Let's pick this one. It's 2, 2. And I'm going to plug that into the formula here. So really, you're just kind of forcing that b out. I want to find out what's happening with it. So I'm going to do some math here. I have 2 is equal to, well, 1 times 2 is 2 plus b. Subtract that 2 away. And it ends up that my b is going to be 0. So we're just going to go back to the formula here. Y equals 1x. And I can put the plus 0 or not. It doesn't really matter. I'm not going to, because typically you don't see that plus 0, but you can see that this line crosses the y-axis at 0. Do these a couple times. Watch the video back if you need to. And we'll work a few of them out together later.